Here are some of my best ideas for teaching colors to ESL or EFL students. So number one is picture prompt. So it's often the case that students have studied colors before. And if I suspect that's the case, I'll put a picture up with like a bunch of different colors, maybe a rainbow or maybe like a playground and people are wearing kind of different colors. And then I'll elicit some things from the students. So I'll say, like, that man, what color t-shirt is he wearing? Or look, it's a rainbow. What colors are in a rainbow? And you can kind of see what students know and what they don't know, so you can focus your lesson on what they don't know. All right, the second idea I have is fly swatter. So this is a super fun game if you want to create a bit of energy and excitement in your class. So you need a whiteboard and then you need 2 fly swatters. So write up all the colors on the board, like yellow, white, pink, blue, kind of in a random fashion, and then divide the class into 2 teams. The first student from each team comes up and grabs a fly swatter in their hand and stands at the board. And then you could say something like, what color are leaves on trees in the summertime? And the first student to slap green, they get a point, and then they go sit down. And then the next student comes up and you can kind of just repeat the process. So as you can see, at least for me, it's not super easy to think up things on the spot. So I generally like to have my prompts or my questions on a little list before I start this activity. All right, the next idea I have for teaching colors is chain spelling. So this is good for total beginners who are just learning the colors. So everyone stands up and then I choose the first person and then I say a color like pink and the first student says P, the next student I, and then N, and then K, and we kind of just go around in a circle. If someone misses a letter, they sit down and then are out of that round. So you can kind of go until the last person is standing. And obviously this doesn't work for beginner or for intermediate or higher level students because it will be too easy. And like probably not many kind of intermediate level students would spell the colors wrong. So it's actually good for total beginners only. All right, the next idea I have is the whiteboard race. So it's similar to fly swatter in that you use a whiteboard and then you would use some board markers and you divide the class into 2 teams. And then the first student from each team, they each grab a marker and then they face the board and then you can give a hint. So for example, you could say, what color are clouds? And the first student to write white gets a point. And maybe they could write gray, and I would probably accept that too because storm clouds are gray. So you can kind of get some prompts and then the first student to write the word and spell it correctly gets a point. And then just repeat it with all the students in the class. All right, the next idea I have is TPR, total physical response. So this is when all the students can stand up, especially for kids. I like them to like stand up once in a while and kind of be active and move around the classroom. It's hard for them to sit in their desks all the time. So that's why TPR is so good. So all the students would stand up and then I would say, touch something green. So students can move around and then they touch something green. And then I'd say, okay, touch something white. And then everyone finds something white. So that's just a simple idea for young learners who are beginners. All right, the next idea I have is flashcards. So when I teach young learners, I love to bring flashcards into the class. So maybe I would find a bunch of animals and maybe there's like a black cat. So I would show the picture of the cat and I would say, what color is the cat? And then students could shout out black. And then have another picture, and maybe I have a tree and I say, what color is this tree? And students could shout out brown and green. So this is just a nice kind of time filler way to kind of like review at the end of class. Okay, if you like these ideas for teaching colors, please be sure to check out my book, 101 ESL Activities for Kids. And please hit like, subscribe, and leave me a comment and tell me your favorite way to teach colors to ESL or EFL students. Catch you next time.